Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm your host, that one camera guy, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at the Fractal Design Define R5 case. At the front of the case, you'll find the Fractal has kept it very simple, just a black matte color. Right at the top in the front, you'll find your headphone and mic ports, along with the reset and stylized circular power button. Also on top, you'll find the front header USBs. Fractal has opted to include two USB 2.0 and two USB 3.0 ports, which can come in really handy. When you open the front door, you'll find two 5 1/4 inch drive bays, along with the one 140mm intake fan included by Fractal, along with a mesh dust cover that is somewhat easy to remove. The front door itself feels very sturdy, although being plastic. On the inside of that, you'll find Fractal has added sound dampening material. One nice added feature about the case is the ability to remove the door with a couple of screws and attach it on the other side to suit your needs. At the bottom of the case, you'll find some really nice silver feet, although they seem a bit odd with the color scheme in my opinion. While looking down there, we will find the additional mesh cover which slides out from the front. When we jump to the windowed side of the case, you'll find a nice windowed cutout for displaying your hardware. The window material does feel similar to the Corsair Obsidian 450D. It feels a little thicker to help dampen the noise. I will say the side panel covers are built extremely well with a little flex. When you open the left side panel, you'll find that same noise dampening material applied on the parts that aren't windowed. If you jump to the right side panel, you'll find the same thing. You'll have this sound dampening material covering the inner side of the entire panel. Now, if you opt for the non-windowed model, you'll get additional sound dampening benefits as the whole panel will be covered. Jumping to the rear of the case, you'll find the included 140mm exhaust fan along with 7 expansion slots on the back. In addition, you'll find a perforated section for additional airflow out of the case. And at the bottom, you'll find the power supply unit location along with the I/O cutout. At the top of the case, you'll find 3 modu vents that pop right out if you decide to install a radiator at the top. Just keep in mind though that these modu vents are there to help reduce sound, as the inner side of these panels have the sound dampening material as well. If you do remove the vents, you will be able to install dual and even triple radiator fans. Removing the side panel, we will find the main part of the show. The case supports mini, micro, and regular ATX motherboards. Fractal also nicely labels where standoffs go based on your motherboard size for easy installation. To the front of the case, you'll find the 2 5/4 inch drive bays. Below that, you'll find the 8 3.5 inch drive cage that are broken into 5 and 3 bay groups. All 3 components, the 5 1/4 inch drive bay and the 3.5 inch bay groups, can be removed and reconfigured in a number of ways. Down on the bottom left, you'll find the location for the power supply unit. And recessed into the case, you'll notice the nicely placed grommets with rubber shields, which will provide ample room for cable management. On the opposite side, you'll find 2 2.5 inch drive caddies where you can mount your SSDs. Unfortunately, these aren't toolless, so you'll have to bring out the screwdriver. Also on this side, you'll find ample room for cable management as well as access to the back side of your motherboard for CPU cooling. Also on this side, you'll find ample room for cable management as well as access to the back side of your motherboard for CPU cooling mounts as well as access to your drive cages. You'll also find a number of screws that are nicely packed in small baggies. Removal of the drive cages is fairly simple. To remove the middle 3.5 inch drive cage, simply remove 2 thumb screws and pull the cage out. To remove the bottom cage, you'll remove 2 thumb screws and then 4 additional screws on the bottom of the case to remove it. The top optical drive cage requires the removal of 4 screws. The case provides a variety of cooling opportunities. By removing the drive bays, you'll be able to install a 280mm radiator up front. And if you do remove the optical drive bay, you'll be able to install in length of 360mm. You can also mount a radiator towards the bottom front of the case. When it comes to graphics cards, you'll be able to install them up to 12.2 inches with the drive bays installed, and you'll have a clearance of up to 17 inches if the bays are removed. As far as CPU coolers, you'll have a max clearance height of about 180mm. I found the build experience in this case to be much easier than the Corsair 450D with a few caveats. The great thing about this case is how much space they pack into it. For the amount of cables I have going around in the build, I didn't feel I was ever packing too much in one place. The removable drive bays really help with the initial installation. There were plenty of places to tie cables and really keep cable management tidy. They even have a recessed area on the other side of the case near the grommets, which help prevent that annoying case bulge. Now on to the cons. Well, this is not necessarily a bad thing, but the drive installation did take time. All drives had to be mounted with screws into their caddies, as opposed to the Corsair 450D where you just slide them in place. I felt the top of the case with the monument panels could have included an additional dust filter for my particular build. I'm using the H100i, and so I had to remove 2 panels up top, which is going to leave a lot of room for dust to fall in. For the time being, I'm using the 450D's dust filter to cover the top, so that's something to keep in mind for this build. One note of concern is that the USB ports are very, very stiff. When I insert a USB device, it's incredibly difficult to insert and also remove them. So watch out for that. So my final thoughts. Grab this case if you need plenty of future expansion for hard drives. It has a total of 8 3.5-inch drive bays. The case is really quiet when in use. I know it'd be even quieter if I didn't remove the 2 monument panels. I actually have it on right now, if you can hear it in the background. I am concerned about the USB ports, and maybe they just need to break in a little. Other than that, if you're looking for a quiet, spacious case with a nice side window, or not, the Fractal Design Define R5 is definitely the case to consider. Again, I don't know everything. If I missed anything specifically, let me know down below. And if you're interested in seeing future builds and case reviews, consider subscribing. I've got another build project coming up soon with the EVGA Hadron Air ITX case. If you did enjoy this particular video, go ahead and give it a like and share it. It really helps me out. Now, if you missed my last build video, you can find it by clicking on the top eye icon up there. And with that said, I'm your host, That One Camera Guy, and I will see you in the next video.